Yeah, every week until we get a theme song, we're going to have to look at a few seconds of a countdown, and then I'm just going to stop it before we get to 1. So countdowns mean nothing here, and top 10s and all that stuff. Anyways, everybody, welcome to the Toy Duo, and we come to you every week on Saturday at noon. Maybe we'll change our hour just to like throw everybody off one day, but we'll see. If you have joined us in the show and you are in the chat, go ahead and please ask questions and make comments, because half the show is questions and comments that we typically, sometimes I miss because I'm not wearing my glasses during the live stream. But anyways, we are going to have the reveals. It's going to be the hot or not section, and we're going to talk about those when they come up. But right now, let me introduce you to Sir Eric Brown, who's joined us on the show. Hello, Eric.
How's it going?
And then we got Ways of the Sith drinking chocolate milk again.
No, coffee.
He's graduated to coffee.
Yeah,
so we
usually always have coffee, but if not, chocolate milk is.
Was that Tim Hortons or what was that?
Wawa.
Okay.
Do you have them by you or no?
Nope.
No. I know you don't, Vern. Yeah, no, because it's an East Coast thing. It's a Pennsylvania thing, but they spread down to Florida, and they've like started to go out west. So that's why I wasn't sure if Eric got them yet by him.
No.
Are you a Buc-ee's guy?
I don't know what a Buc-ee's is.
No, you don't have a Buc-ee's by you either. Okay.
No, there are Buc-ee's, but no, I'm not huge into coffee in general. Although, like, my wife will get the La Colombe thing, the mix bundles at Costco, and I'll have some of that. But
okay, Buc-ee's is like a Walmart rest stop if you view it that way, Vern. So like a gas station with like 100 pumps, and you can pretty much buy anything inside the store. It's like very.
I think I've seen like truck stops like that. So what you're saying is
it's a gas station convenience
world
store.
Famous coffee place which brews a bunch of coffee and puts it in that thermos thing that keeps it warm, and you push the little button down and it squeezes the coffee out into the cup.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I would ever drink coffee from a place like that unless it was.
That's all the places. That's all the places. We're not fancy like California, where we have the espressos and the lattes and all that. The foam art.
My wife does that. My wife has a fancy espresso machine, so whenever I do get coffee, if it's not like the La Colombe stuff, she makes me fancy stuff. So I'm spoiled.
Have you seen this? The show Yellowstone?
Nah.
So
I've heard it's good though.
Okay, so one of the actors in it, this Cole Hauser, he plays like one of the main characters. He's starting his own coffee company. It's called Free Reign Coffee, like rain spelled like the rains. And they got like a van that's driving from Texas to Montana, where there's going to be some like bourbon and barbecue thing where he's going to have his coffee as a launch party. And they said, if you see us, take a picture with the van and post it to Instagram, and we'll send you some swag, right? So I took the van and I photoshopped it, put it in front of my house. And I felt like a nice little post, and I hashtagged the Free Reign Coffee. And when I looked at the hashtag, my post had popped up in there. And then when I look at the hashtag now, it's gone. So I don't know if they like removed me from the hashtag or something like that. But I do not. My post does not appear when you search that hashtag anymore.
That's weird.
Which is kind of so I don't know. Then I was reading about this like shadow banning and stuff like that Instagram can do, and so I don't know if it's because it's not a hashtag that I would normally use. They're like, oh, what are you talking about coffee for? I don't know, but anyways.
Yeah, I hate Instagram for all that. That's why I like Twitter, and I'm hoping that like we don't get rid of the block button on Twitter. But yeah.
I only really use it for all the like fake accounts that end up following.
Right, they follow.
I do it for a lot of like me and Jonathan were talking about Jonathan Redmond. I do it for a lot of the ads and like the political stuff, because like I don't want to see it, and I don't want my timeline to be filled with it. So I block like all those types of.
I just block people who like are condescending.
Well, yeah, that too.
Like to me,
a lot of the influencers I block because I don't care about anything.
There's a couple of guys have a live stream on Sunday. I block them. So Rolando's in the house saying hello. Hello, Rolando. hello. He was first. He's saying hello to everybody. Look at that.
What's up, Rolando?
Yo.
Hello to Ways of the Sith. Yep. Nope.
This is a cool one though for clearance buy. And now I got the shield and the electro staff for season 3 Mando. Vern, see, there we go.
There you go. Sonny Sundries is here. He is woken up super early to catch our show. We really appreciate it.
What's up, Sonny?
Thanks for joining us. Jonathan Redmond is saying, "Hey, Vern, Eric, Andor's biggest fan and chat. Don't even think about screwing with the show timeline again." The showtime again, yeah, because I had offset it 1 week so we could accommodate usual Mike.
And all the Irish guys were mad because it's way past.
Yeah, they were all like, "What are you talking about?" Jonathan saying Yellowstone is almost as good as Andor. That's for you. David R is here. David, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And then you know what's interesting about that Yellowstone is like we tried to watch like the first episode probably like 4 separate times, and we could not get through the first episode. And then one day we just decided, okay, let's just power through like the first couple and just see what happens. And then we ended up like every day watching it, and now we're caught up.
Are you watching like the other one too, the tie-in, the 18?
We saw the 18. I saw the 1883, and then the one with the 1923, the one with Harrison Ford. Okay. I've only made it a few episodes in. It's one of those things where I don't like saying it, but I mean like they're just making him too much of a tough guy at his age. Yeah. In my opinion, right? Like, but I get it.
Now it's like all 3 of those shows are just supposed to be different eras of like the same family, right?
It's the same family. Like the 1883 is them traveling to Montana and then finding the land where they're going to stay on. And in 1923, it's like the generation later and stuff like that. And then now they catch up.
So you want to watch Yellowstone first, if anything?
If you want to if you haven't seen any of it, just start with the 1883. And then you'll see like the family moved to Montana. Then you'll find the generations later, and then you'll see the generations later. You don't have to watch the Yellowstone.
But what is the like chronology? Obviously, 1883.
It's 1883, 1923, and then Yellowstone.
Okay, Yellowstone is actually the newest. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I think Yellowstone though was the first one, right? And then they did the pre.
And then they did that spin-off, which is interesting because if you want to watch Yellowstone, you got to watch it on Peacock. But if you want to watch 1883 or 1923, you got to watch it on Paramount Plus.
That's what I was going to ask. I thought those were Paramount shows.
So I was thinking about this whole streaming thing recently, and you know how like they have that SAG-AFTRA strike, and then the actors are out there, and there's no filming going on right now. And then I guess like a lot of people have been talking about the Disney CEO and some of the comments that he's made, right?
Yeah.
About they can hold out, right?
Yep.
Until you guys just give in, something like that. I don't know exactly what was said, but then I started thinking about it.
He was basically saying they're going to hold out until they can't afford their homes anymore.
Yeah. And do you remember though, like earlier in the year, it seemed like a few months ago, they started pulling a bunch of shows like Willow and stuff like that off Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I almost think that was strategic.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they said, hey, let's pull a bunch of shows off our streaming platform. We're just going to say we don't need them on the streaming platform, or they just didn't get good performance. And then when we don't have any shows to air on ABC, we'll just air these shows that you cannot go watch on our streaming service.
It's possible. It's
you know what I mean? I wonder if it was a strategic.
Or they're going to sell them off to third parties, like what Warner Brothers has been doing. Warner Brothers has been pulling all their catalog off HBO Max and selling it to Tubi and selling it to Freevee. So like, you don't need HBO Max anymore to watch any of the stuff. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. I think that ties into like the Ahsoka date moving up now. And
that's an interesting move, right?
That's a huge positive for everyone in North America, at least. Sorry, everyone else. But
that's what I was wondering about. Like, I wonder if they were like, well, in the US, the audiences are just like inundated with spoilers before they really have a chance, unless they stay up to midnight, and that's why they did it.
Yeah, because for me it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I got to wake up at 4 to watch it before work in the morning. That's basically like what I'll do for men and stuff. But now having it at 9 o'clock the night before, it's appointment viewing for all of us, so we can literally all sit there at one time and watch it together, basically as an audience, I think you're going to get a lot more eyeballs on it now because of that.
Yeah.
Like I think that's going to open the door, because now you're not going to have like the people, like it comes out on Wednesday at 3:00 in the morning. Now, if you're going to work that day, you're tired when you get home, you might have other stuff going on, you might have kids, you might not get a chance to watch it right away.
Yeah, I would not have gone. And you know how the two of you were invited over to Left Coast Graphics to do a live stream with them. Somehow I was included, but
I
that's
just
fine.
got grandfathered in. I just showed up one day to talk about Andor, I think, and then yeah.
Look, I wouldn't have anything to contribute anyways. I'm just messing with Left Coast if he ever watches this thing. But I was
I think that changes like the game for them now at this point.
I would never have been able to watch that live stream because I would not have been able to watch the show by that time.
Yeah, and like that's what's going to change it for I think everybody. You're going to have a lot more people like sitting around with their families and like, hey, let's turn this on and watch it and in real time. And I think if they can swing the same momentum that like Last of Us and House of Dragons and those shows swung by doing that, that should be the formula for all your Disney Plus shows going forward. And then that's something to increase your subscriber rate and do that. But the other thing is you need to add more content to the network. Like, it's a double-edged sword. You can't just have like months of like where people are subscribing just to watch one thing, and then that one thing's over, and now everybody's canceling their.
Well, that's the unfortunately, like I think they found that they can't keep up with the pace to enable content to release like continuously, so that there's always like some
something new,
prime like some top tier content releasing all the time to keep subscriptions flowing.
Yeah, it's not Netflix, it's not HBO, it's not like, and they're not even pumping out movies like they used to, so it's tough for them to even like, hey, we're gonna have a new movie up a month, or at least something to entice people to keep coming to it.
And when they do their shitty live action remakes,
exactly right.
Or movies or stuff that like you don't want to see. Hey, Miriam, but like stuff that you don't want to see. You know what I mean? And it's like,
so Jonathan lost his invite to the stream too Wednesday. So Jonathan, you want to do an Ahsoka after show on Wednesday at 3:55 p.m.
I definitely think that's going to be a huge advantage for them going forward if that's the new method. At least they learned in that retrospect that like that's how you have to do this if you want this to be a successful.
Well, it makes it like an event like network TV, right?
Yeah.
Like
And if you look at the numbers, like Last of Us was generating 8 million people at one time watching the show.
Yeah, because it was Sunday in the evening, and I looked forward to watching it like at that time. And I'm almost thinking like it's early enough, like it's going to be 6:00 here.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's early enough that if I wanted to, I can do like one of those. You ever seen people do their live reaction videos?
Yeah. Those are so weird. I always feel that those live reaction videos are so performative, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, did you see what I just did?
Oh my God. I was getting ready. I was painting these pillars from the Ahsoka show. I got 3D printed.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You got a 3D printer?
No, I ordered these in one of my orders.
Dude, you know what? Cool. I bought my. I think the Ender Pro 3 that I got was just under $250. So like my next thing once I get settled in the house is computer and then 3D printer. That's the way it's going. All right.
Do you use like do you have to use a PC for StreamYard? Or you can use
I'm on a Mac.
Okay.
I'm on a Mac. You just have to use Chrome. You can't use the Safari browser.
Oh, okay, that's fine, man.
So like I'm on a Mac and that's what I use.
Okay.
Oh, there's that Nightbot again. Nightbot, do not ban anyone. I think I turned off all the banning stuff, but I forgot to go back and work on the Nightbot. So did you guys watch that Heart of Stone on Netflix?
No, what's that?
I don't have Netflix.
Oh, that's the one with the Wonder Woman character. She's
got
that new spy thriller or whatever.
Oh no, I haven't even heard about that. No.
So I don't have Netflix, so I haven't been able to watch anything on there.
So it's an interesting. It's kind of like a Mission Impossible kind of like movie in a way. But the storyline, have you ever seen this show called Person of Interest?
Yeah.
Heard about it, but never watched
so
it.
The idea behind that Person of Interest is there's this like computer guy, and he can predict when a crime's going to happen, like with the help of the computer. And so he's recruited this special ops guy or whatever to stop these things from happening.
Okay.
It's predictive, so he's able to like basically solve crimes before they happen or something like
Minority Report.
Yeah. Minority Report. So the Heart of Stone, they had, that's the premise, right? There's this like computer that's predictive that can do all this.
Okay.
Yeah, it was okay. I mean,
I'm watching through. I'm watching. Was it season 3 or season 4 of Solar Opposites on Hulu?
Okay, that's a cartoon, right?
Yeah, so funny.
I just watched that new what's his name? The guy from The Office and Pineapple Express. His new show on Peacock. I forget the name.
Oh, it's Nailing It or whatever. Nailed It.
Yeah, it's something like that. That's not the name, but it's close. It's Killing It or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. The first season was a lot better than the second one, though.
Who is Pineapple Express?
Craig Robertson. I couldn't think of it.
Okay.
I did try to watch that Twisted Metal.
You couldn't get into it?
No.
I haven't watched it yet. I want to, but yeah.
You gotta get past like the first episode and the comedy.
I did.
Once you understand like what they're going for in the show, it becomes so much more enjoyable as opposed to, because I did the same thing. I went into it and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And then by the second or third episode, you just kind of fall in love with it, and like it really just gets ramped up. And like Samoa Joe is fucking awesome as Sweet Tooth.
I think I got the episode 3 and was like,
wait, isn't it Will Arnett's voice though?
Yeah, but Samoa Joe does still everything. Like he still is body acting. He's doing the character. You know what I mean?
That's what threw me off initially when I saw the initial previews. I'm like, I hear Will Arnett, but I'm confused.
Yeah, and it's like it's supposed to be like really over the top like comedy. It's not supposed to be like a serious, gritty like Mad Max type thing. It's supposed to be funny, and like that's what you have to kind of interpret as you're watching it. Is like, you're not supposed to take any of this seriously. You're just supposed to sit back and have fun watching it, and it becomes fun because you start to introduce the different characters.
Well, that's the weird thing, because I remember playing one of the Twisted Metal games on PS2 like 20 years ago or whatever, and the stories for the characters were like really, really dark. It was like,
and they do that in the show, and they so basically you meet everyone.
The comedy angle. That's what I don't I need to watch it.
It's like
you gotta watch it, and you'll see like what they do. They do what they do with Granny. She's like running like a trucker gang.
It's the most ridiculous thing.
The priest is like in charge of all these priests, because like they did it in like a post-apocalyptic thing, and then like the Milkman radio, like that was playing like when you were in Twisted Metal. Now like Anthony Mackie's character is the Milkman, and like basically he runs between colonies and drops off supplies and like does jobs for people.
Sounds like a really cool premise for a show.
Yeah, and like it's just I thought it was I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
So my if there was going to be a season 2, I don't think it'll make it.
No.
See,
apparently it was one of the most watched shows on Peacock, and they said like season 2 is guaranteed.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to see the end rating numbers.
Yeah, no, I would too. Because I didn't see anybody talking about it. I thought like I was the only one tweeting about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I want to see what it looked like on their like graph. You know, like everybody watched the first couple episodes, and then nobody's watching like the last episode.
Yeah, I watched it twice now because I enjoyed it so much. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jonathan's saying that he thinks that Netflix is one of the only service providers that's putting up new content like every month.
Yeah. Most of the other ones, like HBO does it per month. So like at the beginning of the month, HBO Max will put up whatever's new for them. Hulu is like what's new on actual network television comes up on Hulu. So you constantly have stuff there.
All of them update like at least monthly. It's just
right.
But
Netflix is like weekly. Peacock is like weekly.
Well, because they have weekly series, right? They have series.
Well, they have schedule that's spread out enough where like, hey, this week this drops, or this week this drops, or we'll put up some new movies, or whatever the case may be.
Well, I'm watching Deadliest Catch on Max, so that comes on every week.
Okay.
Yeah, and then on Max, supposedly the Supergirl Batman movie is going to hit on the 25th.
Supergirl? You mean Flash?
Yeah.
Oh well, Supergirl. Oh yeah. Because you got a little crush on her.
The Supergirl v Batman movie is.
Wait, no, they have a date for that.
I think it's the 25th. I just exclude the Flash because I just.
Josh was saying my birthday next week. It comes out on Friday.
Oh yeah! Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy early birthday.
All right, happy birthday.
Yeah.
All right.
No, sorry. I was reading something. We got any plans?
Not really. I'm not a big like party person or like let's all go out and do something. I usually like to do something on my own or do something with my dog that day. So like I'll probably end up going like hiking someplace and that's like, but the day after going to a toy show and barbecue and stuff like that. So that'll be
cool.
So there's this guy I've been watching on TikTok. He does these videos the way he's like, you telling me for the past 40 years I could have been doing this? Have you seen this guy? He does this like thing. And like then he shows this clip. Somebody goes to McDonald's and orders a birthday cake. And he's like, what? So he drives to the McDonald's and he's like, I'd like to order a birthday cake. And then they're like, hold on a second. And then they're like, yeah, we can do that. And then when the lady's giving it to him, she's like, nobody's ever ordered one of these and I don't know which way is up. He's like, yeah, no problem. And he's like, was it in the freezer? And she's like, yeah, and so he takes it home and opens it up and it has like a little imprintation on like the thing and it says it's time for a party. So apparently they have these like chocolate cakes just in the freezer. And
what?
Secret
been there forever.
But like $30 will get you a chocolate cake from McDonald's apparently. And now it's like one of those things you see the video and you're like, I'm going to ask for a birthday cake.
Whenever when you said that, I immediately thought of this one comedian who like make a joke saying like, I want to open up a McDonald's where like I don't serve anything that's normal because like it's like at participating locations only. Be like, can I get a quarter pounder with cheese? Nope.
Yes.
Can I get like chicken nuggets? What? Nope. Chicken? Nope. Well, what do you got? We got spaghetti.
And French fries.
Yeah, Mitch Hedberg is the comedian. If you have ever,
that's pretty funny.
If you're ever in Orlando, go to the actual like McDonald's restaurant that's in Orlando. It's by Universal Studios.
So you sit down, a waiter comes out and says, would you like to try our Big Mac special today?
And no, so like they have steak, they have fried chicken, they have seafood, they have pasta, they have all kinds of stuff, and it's an actual like restaurant. It's a 2-story McDonald's. It's pretty crazy.
I used to go to the Rock and Roll McDonald's that was in Chicago, but that closed a while ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I've had McDonald's in like 25 years though. Yeah.
They're like all the time.
No, I take that back. Sorry. I had McDonald's once in the past 25 years and I didn't go out of my way to get it. I was standing in line at Star Wars Celebration Chicago and they brought out like one of like someone said like JJ bought everyone Happy Meals or whatever, and they handed out episode 9 branded Happy Meals, and everyone got beanies.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. I'll go for like a sausage biscuit and egg every once in a while because that's actually real egg that they use.
Waze is over there every day, like with the Happy Meals. Did you guys get the
toys,
the Marvels?
No, I haven't gotten a Happy Meal in God knows how long.
You don't have to buy the Happy Meal to get the figure. You just pay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the one who knows.
McDonald's used to have some cool toys though back in the day.
They did.
Yeah. And it was cool like when it was something like you were actually like watching or into. It was like, oh man, like Spider-Man animated series toys. Like, let's go.
So are you guys aren't old enough to remember when Burger King used to have magic tricks?
Yeah, I want to say they had them when we were younger, like when we were like little.
Yeah, I remember they used to have the magic tricks because they had the king and the commercial was like, oh, and he turned his ring or something and boom, we're at Burger King. And they used to do like the toy used to be like a little magic trick. Some of them.
I remember the like cartoon characters that would like there was like a team of cartoon characters for Burger King, and I can't remember. I'd have to look it up.
I remember the kid that became like one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Burger King kid. Remember that? What's his name? He's in the toy.
Like McDonald's has gets you until a certain age when you decide, and even Burger King when you decide like I think I'm too old for Burger King because I can afford to go to Shake Shack.
Shake Shack is amazing.
That's my favorite.
I love Shake Shack.
We got a place here that's like it's called Burger 25, and they do like all kinds of like, their own fresh special made burgers, and it's really
all right. Let's talk about the
burger. By the way, it was the Burger King Kids Club gang.
Okay,
that's what I'm
going to look that up.
Yep.
So last week on the Ghost, they had 10,114 backers, and last night they had 10,651 backers. So that's
making
over a week. And it threw me off because I saw some post where it was like, oh, I thought they hit 11,000.
Not yet, no.
Because there was like a post that I thought said, oh, 11,000, but it was like a promo for at 11,000 we get this figure. And I think it was those, the same group of guys that are like, back it now so that we can get our stuff, right? Like the ones
don't
that
wait till the last minute. Don't wait.
Well, I'm one of those people. Like, if you're on the fence and whatever, just
do it. Just do it. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you in that aspect. My stance from that is like I can see that like what they're doing, that it's clearly a marketing strategy by people who are influenced by Hasbro to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not Hasbro out there promoting it. It's these people that are influenced promoting.
I don't know.
Their thing.
I don't know.
I guess you could say it's not like a
I can see where you'd think that, but I genuinely think that like for example the Bantha skull post. They want the same stuff. They want all the tiers, and they're just trying to lobby the rest of the community.
They're trying to like just not have you wait it out. Just back it, and then if you change your mind, the goals the theory is the goal will be unlocked. But I wonder if that's actually been tested. Have we ever gotten to a tier and then lost enough?
Regressed.
And to see if they take the tier away.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I want to say it has happened with one of them, but it was something that I don't think ended up funding, right? Like it was
so it would be very interesting
out of the Rancor and stuff like that. So
it would be really interesting to see. Well, we couldn't have got any of the tiers of the Rancor because it didn't ever reach funding. So the thing is, it would be interesting to see something like this hit. Let's see. I think I did all the tiers. We hit the Zeb tier, right? And then all of a sudden they lose 500 backers, which drops it under. What are they going to do?
My 2 cents on that is if the margins are so slim where right before like within an hour or whatever the campaign ending, I didn't see that. What was that comment?
He says, Waze, I love how you tiptoed around mentioning Bantha Skull.
Yeah, I'm not specifically talking about just one person, though. I've seen it from multiple people.
Yeah, I said,
we get it. You want it to fun, you want to hit the stuff, and it is what it is,
Yeah, I'm saying like the group of people, because there is a collective of folks out there that are trying to get people to jump on.
Well, I'm one of them. I want all the tiers, right?
I haven't seen your posts though.
Well, I just retweeted what Bantha Skull posted because I believe in what they wrote.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. So like I just look at it from a suggestion standpoint of like you're almost trying to guilt trip people into back.
I don't.
don't need to do it that way because I know for a fact that a majority of people backed multiple of these in hopes that like, oh, we'll back a lot at first so we get the numbers, but then they'll cancel those orders once they get.
So
that's what I'm wondering. Like if they do that, then what happens?
So on that point, it would be a very bad look for Hasbro to not give whatever tier that just got like backed down from.
Yeah.
If that happened like within an hour or maybe within the same day, like the final day of the campaign, that would be a really bad look for Hasbro to say, well, no, like the final order count was like 1 shy or 100 shy because people canceled. That would be a very bad look for them to do that. I would have to think that they just eat it, and maybe they even like they have to produce more than the quantity anyway to cover like defects. So my guess is it's not something.
I don't know if they have to do that, Eric, because when there was a problem with the Sentinel knees, their solution was live with it or we'll just give you a refund.
Yeah.
They had extra parts for the Razor Crest. I know.
I think they even had extra boxes.
I think maybe the Sentinel where they learned though that like, hey, we need, because Galactus, there was some issues with Galactus, and I know people got a whole new Galactus sent to them.
Yeah, I have to believe that they produce more. Like they produce more than what is ordered to cover certain cases.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, G-Force is saying that he hasn't posted about the ghost since I backed it. I'm no HasLab cheerleader, but he is a Action Force cheerleader. We have not talked about Action Force yet today, so you have arrived just in time.
With the pace things are going at, like this time next week,
Ghost Rider,
we might be pretty close to getting Kanan. You
think so?
Or sorry, or is it Ezra?
Yeah, it's Ezra.
I think Ezra's 11. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think we'll be pretty, like, if we haven't gotten it, I think this time next week with the rate things have been chipping away, we should be pretty close.
Yeah, it would make sense. And I'm sure you're going to get a swell of backers towards the very end. Like, that's when a lot of people jump on because they want to see where it's at. Like, for me, like, if hypothetically, if I was going to back this thing, the only way I would back it is if we were getting all 3 figures with it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not appealing to me to have to now chase down these figures outside of the HasLab. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I could see a lot of other people having that same mindset of like, well, if I'm not getting all the unlocks for the $500, like I look at HasLabs like a base offering. Like, even though they are tiers and how many numbers, the overall price is still included with these figures being included. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you see people canceling if they don't get all the tiers?
Unfortunately, yes, but I have to believe that if there's minimally enough demand for people to buy what was the minimum amount, 8,000 or whatever, for the Ghost, that they will. If you don't get the figures in these states, they're going to make the Rebels crew just with less accessories.
I don't think that's like even out of the question, because like they already said it during the HasLab like announcement. They said these card backs are the only exclusive thing. So
listen, I will tell you though, if it doesn't get any of the tiers and you've already backed it, right, and you cancel, I think you're making a huge mistake. And the reason I'm saying that is because there's going to be so limited number of them that it's going to get really valuable just for the ship.
Yeah, just like the sail bars. That's what happened with the Jabba sail bars. It was so big and only hit so far, but there's only 8,000 of them that were made, or 8,500 of them that were made.
Yeah, like to me, I would be cheerleading for let's not hit the tiers.
Yeah,
at this point,
I can see your point. I can see your point on that, and especially if you're somebody who's like looking at it from that perspective. I agree.
If you bought 4 or 5, you may not want to hit the tiers, just so you can have a really exclusive ship.
Resale value too. Yeah.
No, I don't buy it. I don't buy toys for resale value though.
Yeah, I will.
I'm saying, there's people that
we don't.
Yeah.
But like, there's got to be a good portion of the people who have loaded onto this, that's exactly what they're going to do. And if
that's the kind of method with a HasLab though in general. Is like everybody thinks like, oh, let me buy 2 and 1 will pay for both. You know what I mean? Like
it didn't work.
It doesn't always work that way. Nope.
Did not work for Galactus.
Nope.
All right, so let's catch up on. This is the Super 7. So Jonathan, your Cat Slayer went from 3,200 backers to 3,240 backers. Yeah. So you got 40 more backers this week. So did you order 40 more?
I think this is crazy though. Like the fact that like you have this succeeding, you have the Ghost succeeding, you have the Sky Striker succeeding. Like this is a good time to be a toy fan if you're into all these different lines. I'm sure you're having to pick and choose, especially now with the Turtle Lair for $300. Like that's another choice you have to make. But it's cool to like have these offerings. I just wish for the love of God they would think that like, hey, there's a lot of people that collect these multiple lines. They probably don't have all of this money to shell out at one set time in the summer. Like of all times, the summertime.
Did you see the guy? Did you see the guy with the? I think I retweeted him. He had a diorama of like a sewer kind of walls, and he was like,
"Show the scale."
This is how big it is. No wonder it's $300. Like it was like a total value. Well, I posted like me standing next to this, saying like, "Well, I built this for $65." So yeah, I guess you can see it. Under and 65, right?
GeForce even said it. GeForce said it last week when we were talking about GeForce. It's like, if you guys pay me X amount of dollars, I can build you the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It just won't have the furniture. Hilarious. And like that's really the thing for me. I was just talking about it with a buddy of mine of like, if that was in line with the building, the 3-story building that you get from NECA for $125 or whatever it is, $135. I would have bought this no problem and just stacked the building right on top of it and then figured out how I wanted to display it or whatever. But for $300 for that, like, and they want you to buy 2 of them, like, you're out of your mind. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You have to be really. You have to. For me, you have to be really into the Turtles line.
It's a great thing too. Like, it's really awesome, and the fact that if you get the different accessory packs, because like I think remember when they first showed it off, they showed 3 of them back to back to back, and one was like the dojo, one was the lab, and then one was the actual sword itself. I don't think they're gonna do different. I think that's the model. You know what I mean? And like, if you're buying this now, you got to take that into consideration that you might need to buy 2 or 3 of these now, and then the accessory packs for all the other stuff might just be separate releases.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because those walls are modular, so it basically, once you get multiple of them, you can arrange those walls however you decide. You know what I mean?
That's why I think that 300 price point is ridiculous, right? Like,
you would have sold a lot more.
It's a farce, right? Can you imagine? And he's saying it right. Like if Hasbro tried to charge $300 for that,
we would have been burning. Yeah, we would have been.
I was the one that said that in the chat. I was like, imagine, like,
But you know who can get away with it besides these guys? Valaverse.
Or Super 7, I guess, too, right?
They can get away with it.
Even their Cat Slayer, though, their Cat Slayer is what, another $300 more than that, and that's.
I think Valaverse was smart. They take that, they take that like model that NECA's building that thing. They'd make it a garage to park your Vanguard in with like a tool thing,
or a rundown brick, like a war zone. Yeah,
like a winch. You change out the turret, for
be hilarious if McFarlane came out with like $100 like thing in the same scale. Be like,
and apparently he's got some turtle license too that we've yet to see anything from. Apparently he does have a turtles license. We just don't know what it is, like what he's actually going to make from turtles. So it's possible, like he could do the same thing and be like, "Hey guys, $90, here you go." Like,
it wouldn't be like, it might not be the exact kind of deco for the for the cartoon Ninja Turtles or whatever, but it would be funny if someone saw this as an opportunity to produce like a competitive product.
I'm sure that we were talking about that ramen toys last week. I am sure they would be up to the task.
Look,
because it seems like they're just that's all they're looking for. Whatever these companies mess up on, hey, let's make it ourselves and let's put it out.
Look, you know that sewer is like a diorama, right? So like theoretically, like you got these like modular walls, but how hard would it be if those were just like front pressed like plastic pieces? You know, like those old Halloween masks.
Yeah.
But like the wall was just pressed out of that same material that just had like little pegs that stuck in like a board bottom. You know what I mean?
Well, that's basically what it is. It's just they're actual solid plastic panels.
Right. But they could use that thinner plastic because it's just the look.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is, and it's got to be durable enough to stack the building on top of, which is the cool part about
the
it.
other part too, right? Yeah.
And like that's the selling point on it is like, oh, if you have these buildings, these fit perfectly. And even for like a Spider-Man display, that would look awesome to have the building and then the sewer below and have like a lizard and a couple of the other guys down in the sewer. Like that would be awesome to have set up. It's just not for $300.
we got a couple of really good dio builders in here, like Duffman's dioramas is here, and you got
GeForce
in here.
Yeah.
I'd say that should be a contest. You guys build your closest model of that sewer diorama, and then have a runoff to see and take votes. Who did it better?
Yeah. See, the brickwork is really like the most time-consuming thing. As far as doing that. But I saw somebody else do the same exact thing on Twitter and posted, that there had interlocking magnets and could attach the whole thing together. I mean, it's very possible.
Okay, GeForce is going to do the sewer set.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, like I said, I'm interested to see what they actually sell, but like it's almost one of those things too where it's not a crowdfunding thing, but it's a 3-week pre-order and that's all they're making. So
that's what the van was.
Yeah.
But for me, the van, you get infinitely more, like an infinite more like amount of value than.
And that was the same price, right?
No, less. Who's less expensive?
Oh, okay.
How much is the van? How much is the turtle van?
The van was $250.
Okay, so
$265 with shipping.
Do you remember? Like I've used it in my videos, and I can get my GI Joes in there. They had a Scooby Doo van that came out like a couple of years ago, and it was for, I don't know if they were the Playmobil figures or I don't know what they were, but they were the figures were like this big. But my Joes fit in the driver's seat of that. I mean, their legs are kind of funky, but they still from the windows look good in the van. Yeah. And I'm like, that thing was only like $40 or $50 or something. Well,
even the turtle van that came out for the new movie, like you can fit the NECA cartoon figures in that van as well. So like that's a $30 van that's the spending, and it works. It looks great. I mean, that's probably what I'm going to end up doing once I get situated and get everything set up.
And then the wrestling figures have like these little semi truck things and stuff like that. They had an ambulance. And I'm like,
a bunch of them are on sale right now too. That like wrecking truck, and I've seen a lot of people take that wrecking truck and use it, and like you can buy the 3D printed grill for the front of it and different stuff, and use it for.
So did you go back to Ollie's before the show?
No, not yet.
Girl. That's a cool set.
You want that? Like I just I was looking at it and I had it in my hand.
If you see it again, right. I would get it. Yeah.
I had it in my hand and I was like, all right, like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, I could put Deadpool and Bob on it or something like that. That would be funny. But like, I was like, what would I do with her? Because like, I have no use for Squirrel Girl.
Cool. It's cool. Yeah. It's just different, right? Like, but with that, what I would use the scooter for is like Boba Fett.
Oh, are you trying to mod it, or are you?
No, I would like I would just make it look like. Like
one of the
I could recreate maybe the scene
Give it up.
chase, but it's an actual like scooter. I think it'd be funny.
Oh God.
Good price.
Are we
it wasn't that bad. It was not that.
What?
No, go ahead, Eric.
No, I was just saying the scooters or speeders or whatever, it wasn't that bad.
I liked them. Yeah, if you watch back, I was a big fan of them. I got a lot of flack because they said, "Oh, these modded up high fancy scooters don't belong in like this like desolate like."
I
area.
thought you were okay. Maybe it was someone else. I can't.
But the way I tuned it was like, if you know who George Lucas is and you knew he grew up in the San Joaquin Valley, cruising was a really big deal. And the San Joaquin Valley is agriculture, right? So people really modded up their vehicles in that area, and then they would go hang out on like Friday and Saturday night cruising. So to me, those modded scooters were a total throwback to where, you know, him, like the idea of him growing up. I know George Lucas didn't make the Book of Boba Fett, but Filoni knows, right? Because those guys, you know,
and he was a part of the process.
My only complaint was I would have preferred that group be the bounty hunters. Like, if you just would have had Dangar, Bosk, and Zuckuss and Forlom in that spot instead of those random characters, the show would have been infinitely 10 times better just by doing that.
But I mean, like, that takes away from their lore and then the ability to make a show about one of them. Because wouldn't it be cool to one day get a show about, like, say, Dengar or Bosk or something like that?
Oh, well, or just the bounty hunters in general. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And I think that would. Can you imagine going to the movies to watch the bounty hunters?
Yeah, I think it would.
I'd line up for that.
There's stuff going on in the comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And originally that was George's original pitch for, like, back in the day. He was trying to do a TV show on Fox that was supposed to be like the Star Wars Underground, it was called. And that was like the working title. And that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, you were going to follow the scum and villainy. There was going to be no Jedi. And that's what it was going to be. The lowlives, the bounty hunters, the gamblers, all that type of stuff. But it never came to fruition. So, like, seeing them being involved in Boba Fett would have been so cool and like would have made more sense. So hopefully we get to see them going forward in one of the things.
So Connor's here. He says, is Waze in a Walmart or is he moving? And G-Force is backing that with saying, it does look like my Walmart. The shelves.
I got this weekend coming up as my last weekend being in this apartment, and I can't fucking wait to get out of here. So I'm very much looking forward to this next week going by very quickly, so that next week I can get into my new house and set up everything again. I can't wait.
So Jonathan's saying all the 1950s cruising in the world would not make the biker gamps from Book of Boba Fett look cool. And I'm not even talking because, you know, where I grew up and went to high school was in Merced Atwater area, which is in the San Joaquin Valley. And we were still cruising when I was in high school on Friday and Saturday. We were.
I want to see more of the I want to see more of the modders, especially with Thundercat, the head guy.
The guy
Marshall?
who did the mod.
So that would have been
right.
So
that's
there was like
from Black Eyed Peas, wasn't that him?
No, well, I don't think he's in Black Eyed Peas, but he's just he's an awesome bassist.
So somebody posted on Twitter once. I don't know if you saw it. It was like, you got 15 minutes in front of the board at Star Wars or whatever. What's your pitch for a Star Wars movie?
Oh, I got mine.
And I'll tell you what mine was. Mine was history, or the first roboticist making experimenting on people with parts,
doing mods and stuff like that.
And I was thinking like the Island of Dr. Moreau, like that type of a story where, you know, that he's creating kind of like these monsters, but part robot, part human kind of thing, like
experimenting and seeing what he could do, how it would work. That'd be interesting. What would yours be, Eric, if you had to make a pitch right now?
I'd need to think about that, but my initial like funny thought, which is not what I would actually pitch, would be Lobot the musical. No. Like I'd have to think about that one a lot more. I think one of the things I'm most interested in seeing, and I think I've said it before, would be I want to see Luke's Jedi Temple, like and like him like
being a
training.
teacher and being a master.
I want to see prime Luke. But that's probably like, and I don't think it hurts it. I just think that'd be a better story for animation than live action.
Yeah.
I'm all for like recast you Sebastian Stan or whoever, right? Like you could do that, but I just think it'd be better for animation.
Yeah, no, it definitely would. I know I would either at this point now after reading Rise of the Red Blade, that in itself would be a perfect like movie to do. Especially because like you get the prequel era, you get the Clone War, and then you get the aftermath. So it's like a perfect like blending of seeing what happened behind the scenes while all this other stuff was going on. But if I had to come up with like an original pitch, it would definitely be making Starkiller an Inquisitor and Mara Jade an Inquisitor. And you kind of do the chess match of Vader and Palpatine with Vader controlling Starkiller and Palpatine controlling Mara Jade. And you basically have them end up being the last Inquisitors after Vader and Palpatine have already died. And you would almost have them working together, but at the same time trying to stab each other in the back every way, every sense of the way. And you would kind of get that revolving door of like Palpatine told her to do one thing, Vader told him to do another, and you have that crossing back and forth. I think that would be a cool way to like usher those two characters into the universe and make them canon.
That's pretty cool. GeForce is asking if I'm ready for the tropical storm. And yes, I do remember the last one from 1931.
Yeah, I didn't. Bill was talking about it the other day and saying like, "Oh, the storms are incoming." And I was like, "What storms?" And he said, "We had a hurricane coming." I was like, "On the West Coast?" I was like, "I'm used to getting hit with the hurricane."
All right, let's see. Book of Boba Fett and Mando in them. Okay, let's see. I want to see what happened between Empire and Jedi. New actors, loads of stories.
Read the comics.
What?
Yeah.
Read the what?
The comics, because right now that's basically what they've been telling. Like that's the focusing point right now in the comics, and also the Star Wars Outlaws game is going to really dive into a lot of that too, which is going to be cool.
Yeah,
you're going to get to play through a lot of that.
Mr. B.
Hey, Mr. B.
So let's see. Hold on. I wanted to read this one. The Book of Boba Fett bikers were so lame and unpopular. I'm shocked that Hasbro, the Black Series design team, have not made them. That's what I'm waiting for. I mean, GeForce will get them if they come with their Vespas.
See, I thought for a minute, like before we actually like knew them or saw them, I thought they were going to end up making that girl Dr. Aphra. Like I thought that's what they were playing at because Santo was already in it, and then like making her Aphra would have been a perfect way to like bring them in, but then they didn't go that way.
Yeah, the one thing about those bikers that bothered me was the girl who had like the robotic arm. She never used it for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even during the fight with like Chrysanthemum or whatever, it was always down at the side. It never was used. So I mean, like I don't know if it was broken, but I was imagining like
it had no function.
Man Bionic Woman thing where it was like and he goes across the room, but like nope. It goes limp in in the fight. There's no fight in that robotic arm. So what's the point of having robotics if they don't?
Yeah.
Brian's action figure reviews.
Are you planning on like I don't know what you have planned in the segments. Are we going to be talking about Ahsoka, or do you want to talk about it now?
Let me just do this really quick. Brian's here. Gap has joined us after dark. Saying hello. Let's see. Getting a bit worried about the Outlaw game. Okay. The Outlaw Star Wars game. So I wanted to do this really quick. It's kind of like a new thing. We'll see how it goes. I've been following this guy on Twitter. I don't know if you guys follow him as well, but I like some of the stuff that he's doing with his action figures. So I just thought I'd give him a shout out. I know he didn't watch the show probably, but I think some of the stuff's pretty cool. So he did this with the shipwreck. I think it looks pretty good.
That looks cool. Yeah.
It's and then he made these, so
that's cool. It was cool. And then
so it's like more like kit bashing and stuff, but I know he does some of his own paint work and stuff like that just to mix and match. So I mean, I just thought show it. I think it looks pretty cool. I like people who are just doing creative stuff. Like I know Waze is doing like a boatload of customs. I mean, I couldn't even keep up with the number of customs he's doing and stuff like that.
I gotta film this video before I move too. I've had them all like out here. I was supposed to get a new phone today, and I went over to Xfinity, and they only had like a gold version of the phone, and I was like, I don't want a gold phone, like. So I have to go tomorrow to a different Xfinity store and see if I can get a new phone so I can record. But
okay, so
currently I'm using this one, but my screen is totally smashed. Like my screen is like cracked throughout the whole entire thing. Yeah.
So yeah, we can talk about Ahsoka if you guys have stuff you want to talk about. You're probably leaving me out of the conversation because
I wanted to say because I wanted to include you in this conversation because it pertains to you especially.
Because I don't have any
spoilers.
I don't have
heard anything. No spoilers, please.
I don't have any background on it. So what I'm planning to do is, like, I know I said I wasn't going to watch it, but I'm not going to not watch a Star Wars thing unless it's like a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to watch all the live action stuff. I mean, regardless of me saying I'm not going to do it. And then I'm assuming that I should be able to understand who the characters are and what they're coming from based on what's happening in the storyline or based on one of the other live action shows, because I don't think that they would make a show and try to leave people out of it just because they didn't read comics or they didn't watch a cartoon.
So I was watching Christian Harloff's breakdown. He went to the premiere the other day, and the other guy, Mike Kalinowski or whatever his name is, that's on the show with him, has never seen Rebels. Is just like you, same mindset. Loves Star Wars, just does not want to watch the animated shows. And so the whole thing of their review when they went in out of the theater was he wasn't sure if he was going to be completely lost or if he was going to love like what they were doing. And once they were done with the review, he basically said that he was perfectly on board with everything that they were doing. He had no questions. But if you are a Rebels fan, there's going to be Easter eggs and things you're going to get more than somebody who's
what I
just
imagine. Yeah.
First.
And I hope that.
All that you had to do was watch Mando, basically. If you watched Mando and you were introduced to Ahsoka and Mando, you'll be perfectly fine going in, because I guess they used the premise of like Mando to explain who Sabine is, and like that's the way they did it. Here's another Mandalorian. You're familiar with the Mandalorians. Here's this Mandalorian story. And apparently like they are the very much main focus of the show, Ahsoka and Sabine and their relationship.
So I'm imagining that, like, if we do this thing on Saturdays or whatever, since I'm not invited to this after show that Left Coast Graphics is doing on Wednesday at 4:00 on his channel, that I'm going to have like some questions about will this happen? Would I know something more if I had watched this? Those would be the questions, right? So that's what I would like on Wednesday when I'm watching you guys up there wishing that I was part of the stream, was hoping that maybe I would get oh, are you guys going to point out what the Easter eggs are, and point out like the stuff that you only get by knowing from the books or knowing from the cartoons.
Yeah.
Or are you guys just going to go in and assume everybody knows everything you're talking about?
No, I think with Eric being involved and me being involved and Super John, we're all going to be talking and bringing up our own points. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be fun.
I haven't had a chance to rewatch Rebels. I wish I did, but I also hope they bake in some references to Star Wars Squadrons and Hera's involvement in that game.
And Alphabet Squad and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because for those that don't know, Hera is technically in charge of Carson Teva and Zeb's unit. So the group we saw in Mando, Hera Syndulla is their general. She's the commanding officer for that group. So really, really cool, and that automatically ties it into Mando. Like once you learn that, you're going to be like, oh, okay, so she's in charge of Carson Teva and Dave Filoni and all the guys that we saw in this bar. Like, really cool. Like, little things like that.
So can I watch one of those Star Wars Lego movies now that I'm hearing about Lego and be caught up?
Not in the Lego movies, no. Not in the Lego movies. But like I was saying, they were all saying that basically you did not need to watch Rebels and that you'll be fine going into it. So that's good. That's a really good sign. And I have not heard. So I went looking more so for the reviews, not just the spoilers. So I saw a lot of positive reviews and people that love the show, but then I saw a lot of people doing the same misogynistic crap and complaining about, oh, it's a female lead, Kathleen Kennedy, blah, 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 blah. And
Did
it
you
was
see
just,
my
guys.
Yeah. Well, you know,
It's gonna
I can get
happen. I
into
mean,
a
it's
conversation.
always gonna happen, and it's just it's a shame.
Incel's gonna incel.
Yeah, and it's a shame too, because like I don't know, it's a character now. Ashley had to go through it when the character first debuted. You know what I mean? Like she caught a
Right.
lot of ridicule and a lot of flack when that first Clone Wars movie came out, which is what 15 years now. It just was this week was 15 years since that original
Something
Clone
like
Wars
that,
came out, which is incredible. But it's something now, unfortunately, that like these people bake in, and it's like if you're not familiar with the story and you don't know what's going to happen, I don't see how you can like jump to conclusions about, oh, they're doing this and they're only doing this
Yeah.
because of this. And it's like, no, if you
So-
watch Clone Wars and you watch Rebels, you know, like this has been going on for 15 years. This story, this is just a continuation of it, you know?
So I have a question about this Ahsoka show that I'm kind of confused about.
Okay.
Is it set before or after Order 66?
After.
Okay, so how many Jedi survived Order
We're up
66?
We're up to like 10 now, yeah.
Okay.
That we know of.
That we know of.
And Balin now is another one that survived, you know, that we weren't privy
Should
to.
that be like a good episode or a good movie where like in something where they have the Imperial Intel guys like just realizing they can't find them and just like marking them off like the calendar anyways, like, okay, we got them. So
Well, I'm pretty
a
sure they had
propaganda.
I'm pretty sure they had like a hit list or whatever, because like all those inquisitors were former Jedi or people who like didn't pass the trials, right? So
And
they
so,
were
like,
all yeah.
So they weren't necessarily. So a lot of them. You think there's a lot of people out there that weren't necessarily Jedi because they didn't cut the mustard, but they're like
Some of them, but some of them were
building.
No, so some of them were like Jedi Knights that basically were like the Grand Inquisitor was one of the Jedi Temple guards. He's a full-fledged Jedi Knight. He just was like he just lost faith in the order following
like
the
or whatever.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, it had to do with Ahsoka. Actually, Ahsoka had a role in him kind of losing faith in the Jedi.
Yeah, and that they wouldn't let him in. So like in the library, his whole thing was knowledge, the Grand Inquisitor. So like Jocasta knew, being the librarian, you were only allowed certain access based on like your ranking in the Jedi, and because he was a Jedi Temple guard, he was only allowed to learn so much, and he wanted to learn more. So his real cadence for the motivation was they were keeping stuff from him. And you learn in Rise of the Red Blade that like a lot of the Inquisitors that ended up turning willingly, they were all manipulated and lied to in some sort of fashion, or something was kept from them that they had resentment towards the Jedi for. And like that was the thing to sway them. Iskat, the main character in the book, you come to find out that besides the Grand Inquisitor, she's the only other one that went willingly and basically just said, oh yeah, no, fuck the Jedi. Everybody else basically got captured and then tortured and then made an Inquisitor. So like none of them willingly like went and became, and if they did like willingly, Vader fucked them up immediately. So like he took off Fifth Brother's arm, he took off Ninth Sister's eye, like he fucked them up and beat them and like
now I have to put the explicit on the
but like that's kind of the way they twisted them and manipulated them and really like
or I'm gonna have to go in and listen and then beep.
But so that's why I was saying, like,
parental advisory stamp on this.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never seen it anywhere, but when you upload the podcast, it's one of the questions that they ask you, and it's fine. Don't worry about it.
And that's one of the things like that I was saying about that book being like, that would be a perfect movie to show people, just because of the fact that like you're covering those 3 areas and you're actually watching that process go down. You actually see Order 66 happen from this other perspective, where like she's there and getting ready. The clones all turn. The Order was executed, but right before they're about to kill her, a hologram of Palpatine pops up, and he's basically like, "Do you want to come with me, or do you want to stay here and die?" And she just like, "All right, I'm going with you." And they let her go and kill the other Jedi that she's with. And like she puts 2 and 2 together right away, that like they were all lured out of the Jedi Temple and sent different places and then picked off one by one by one. And then you have the ones that somehow, you know, escaped. We saw Kanan in Bad Batch, right? That was where we saw his like escape from Order 66. We have Cal Kestis. We have Ahsoka. We have Ezra. Gunji, Balin now, so that's 7.
Was
else?
Now you're not expecting me to remember those names, right?
No, I'm trying to think of like how many there actually are. Yeah, a Koth who later got killed by Vader. But yeah, there's probably about like 10 or 15 of them that actually like survived the Order. And
there was the guy that I can't remember his name. I'd have to look it up. The guy Vader killed to get his crystal.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is an interesting part of the storytelling, because from what you're making it sound like is that even the Jedi Order had its major flaws, which you see a part of when they're trying to keep Anakin from being ascending the ranks, right? So.
And in that book, they could really hammer that home. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could be a Jedi and never reach like enlightenment at some point, and then so they in effect would drive. Yeah, they drove people into.
Well, they ended up like too
dogmatic. They lost their way. Yeah. So like the way like they do it in the book and explain it is that when the Clone Wars started and they took all of these children who were students and basically promoted them to the rank of generals and then sent them off to be killing machines. Right. That's where like really the Jedi completely lost their way. And once they did that, that was the beginning of the fall. And Yoda and all them were too focused and too wrapped up in the war that they didn't see the signs and what they were doing. And like once that happens, that's how Palpatine's able to take advantage, because you learn in the book that Palpatine had spies inside the Jedi Temple that were feeding him information about these different students. So that's how he was able to pick each Inquisitor, because he knew this person has a vendetta against them because they're holding this person back, or they're not telling this information. And there
were problems before, like
definitely, yeah.
Dooku left and.
Yeah, Qui-Gon saw a different way too. Like, yeah, definitely, there were plenty of issues before that, and like during the High Republic, now you're even seeing that like there was issues back then of the Jedi Order, and like it was never, which is something that I hope we're going to explore at some point. And I'm wondering if they're going to make Ahsoka this person, or if they're going to wait for the Rey movie to do this. But like, there is going to have to be a new Order of Jedi. That's the only way they succeed. Is if you incorporate. Yeah, if you're going to incorporate both sides and find an actual balance of the Force, that's the only way.
Change the name of Jedi to Eagle Fang. And
but like, honestly, that's the only way the Jedi ever succeed. Otherwise, it's always flawed. You can't have one without the other, and that's why Bendu was always hampering that. Like dark and light, Ashlam, Bogan, it don't matter. You need both. And if you don't have both,
me that Cobra Kai is basically just a reflection of the Star Wars universe. It's the Jedi versus the Sith becoming Eagle Fang.
Yeah, I guess in a way, yeah. But like in the books, in Legends, Legends canon, you were known as a Revanite. Like people always say Gray Jedi, but Gray Jedi is an oxymoron in itself. So there's like that term doesn't apply to anything.
Don't tell him, dude, but yes.
So basically you're known as a Revanite if you're down the middle and you don't subscribe to either side, and it stems back to Darth Revan and what he actually became when he was done. He took the light and the dark and became Revan. And so like the followers of that were known as Revanites in Legends canon, and that's what I'm assuming Ezra is going to be. Like when we see Ezra, I think that's actually like Ezra might actually be the first like Revanite, because he was taught by Kanan to love and to have relationships, and his relationships are his strength. So like that's why to me I still look at Last Jedi as such a colossal shitstorm for disrailing stuff, because we could have had this with Luke. We could have had, you know what I'm saying though, from that standpoint of we could have seen this transpire through Luke like we all anticipated we were going to see. But since they did what they did, now you almost have to skip ahead a whole nother generation to Rey and make Rey the one to do it. And it's like, does it have that same value? You know what I mean? Does it have that same emotional attachment of seeing her accomplish what Luke couldn't? And like, that's what I'm interested to see what Filoni, what he does with this story. Because like, you're going to have Ezra, you're going to have Ahsoka, you're going to have Sabine. Are they going to be doing something separate? Or are you going to kind of curtail them into Rey's sequel? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have two paths now you can go with this whole Filoni verse. It's just which way do you lean? Do you take them out of the picture to bring them back later, or do you make them succeed where Luke failed? You know what I'm saying?
We don't even know if Ahsoka survives this era to
we don't
live in the sequels, right?
We don't. No.
Right.
And her voice is in the sequels, but Filoni's been adamant that doesn't mean she's dead. But Ezra's voice is not in that final Rey scene. So it's interesting. Like I said, it's very possible that he could do the Grisk Wars and send them off into the unknown regions. They're doing this while the First Order rises, and that's why they're not here when that happens. Or they go to the First Order, and then we're back at the sequel. You know what I mean?
They're going to create a whole bunch of awesome stories in the future.
Oh yeah, no, I know, no doubt.
Things together and explain stuff, because like never in a million years would I have thought like be in 2023 and we're talking about like trying to count how many Jedi survived past Order 66, or even before the prequels even existed, right? Like before 1999, you think Luke's the only Jedi. Luke and Obi-Wan are the only one, and Yoda were the only ones left. And then it's like,
and that's why I think a lot of people have issues with like them now announcing that, like, hey, this person survived, this person survived. For me, it doesn't matter. But from the point you just made, it's totally valid to have those feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't, right? Like it's understandable to have those feelings, but I think it's much more interesting to know that there were other Jedi that did exist, and trying to explain why they didn't weren't involved,
participate in the battle against the Empire.
Yeah,
and like that's really I think what you're getting though. Like out of the whole Order 66s, I don't think any of these people that survived were necessarily quote unquote Jedi anymore. You know what I mean? They had either been broken or something happened to them, or they were experiencing
Cal was knighted.
Listen, I don't ask that question about these like lost Jedi when you're talking about A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and I'm going to tell you why. It's the story of this small group, these 3 or 4 people, right, who come together. And I think that even though it took like 2 years between movies, I think we're thinking about it in a different scale, right? I think that timeline was pretty succinct from when New Hope happened to the end of Jedi, right? Even though they went through a lot of transition, I don't think years passed, right? I think it was...
It's only a couple of years altogether for the whole...
year or whatever, like a year. And, that was the army, right? So they got involved with the army. The Jedi that were out there were like scattered about, and they weren't part of that rebel force or that army. So I don't ask that question. I think it makes sense that maybe they weren't there during any of those battles because like even the thing to Endor was kind of like a secret trip where it was like a small group. You know what I mean? That like
it's completely plausible that in the grand scheme of this large universe that paths didn't cross.
Yeah.
But somehow we keep visiting Tatooine. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I mean, because we forget that it's not just like you said in the universe, right? Like we're saying like all this happened, but
we're looking at it on a small scale, but at the universe,
because they were going after the head of the the snake or whatever, right? They weren't like fighting all those other battles, and we're seeing that in the Mandalorian where you had like Moff Gideon and you have
the outer rim because we were dealing with the small
they're still out there. They still exist. All those little military forces are still, and now they're just being run ragtaggedly or whatever, or with like that secret shadow council or whatever.
And and as we saw, they're all doing their own thing. The one guy's robbing ships like a pirate. This one's doing this, and like they're trying to come together, which is eventually going to form the First Order. But we need something else to take place to draw the attention there while the First Order is able to come in.
So what are you hoping? Like the two big things that you hope to get out of Ahsoka?
I'm hoping for the Grist and the Chiss Ascendancy. The way the books are, the way the canon novels are, that's the story they were telling. We don't have an end to that story yet. I'm fully anticipating Ezra working with Thrawn is like a lesser of two evils type thing, and we're gonna go through the whole season of Ahsoka believing that Thrawn's the big bad villain, and then you're gonna come to find out that at the end, Thrawn's not the big bad villain. Ezra's working with Thrawn, and Thrawn and Ezra are going after the Grist. And this has all been a big ploy by Thrawn to gather the Empire's resources and take the fleets and go fight this other war. That's my assumption based off the books.
Okay. So what about you, Eric?
My top two, just piggybacking off that, I wouldn't be as bothered if we didn't see the Chiss Ascendancy. I think it's just what I'd be hoping for most is to just show that Thrawn isn't like a bad guy, right?
Okay.
And just to show the complexity of like in the nuance of his character and his motivations. But other than that, I just want them to get weird with the Force and like more Force lore. That's it. That's all I'm hoping for.
Okay.
And from
more so like the Thrawn stuff, like that would be nice, but like for me, I just want them to get weird with the Force. That's all I want with Star Wars.
I could see that, and I could definitely see it being a situation where, like, if you were following the stories, if Ezra was training the Chiss Skywalkers, you know what I mean, this whole time, and now you do have a new Jedi Order that's different from Luke's that we don't know about. You know what I mean? That's a whole new way you could take the story, I think, and still have somebody succeed where Luke failed, and maybe that's the trade-off. I'm cool with if they go the route of Sabine being Force sensitive. I don't have an issue with it, like some people do. The story is about.
I don't want them to make Sabine Force sensitive, but it wouldn't bother me if they.
Yeah, it wouldn't bother me.
Because I'm sure, like I'm sure, Dave Filoni would have an interesting way to explain it, right?
My worry is that Dave throws out those 6 books, and those 6 books to me are 10 times better than the Heir to the Empire story.
Can you imagine being Timothy Zahn being like, son of a bitch, again?
You did it again, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. To me, that makes no sense to do. And like, so they just re-released that graphic novel too with Arlani and Eli in it, and like, to me, those are the 2 most awesome characters from those Thrawn novels. Like, I would be so mad if he was like, oh, Eli Bento doesn't exist, Arlani doesn't exist, and it's like, man, here we go. We're gonna get the same Thrawn's working for Palpatine, and here we go. Like, I don't want that.
Brian just wants to be entertained. G-Force's question has now been answered. Just by that last little bit.
I won't be. My whole thing is, so I'm looking at it from the grand scheme of things, right? If you go the Thrawn's working for Palpatine route, Thrawn leads to the First Order and Palpatine coming back, it's the very predictable story. We know the end. We know by the time the movie comes, they're going to kill off Thrawn. We're going to be in the First Order era. blah, 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 blah. You know, like it's paint by the numbers at that point. I want to see Dave take the chance to do something that nobody's expecting him to do. And if he can do that and execute it well, watch how many people say this is some of the best Star Wars that they've ever seen. That's my hope for the franchise, because I want to see things progress outside of the sequel trilogy. I don't just want them to lean on that. They've seen what this has done to fans in the division. I want something that can bring Star Wars back to all of us enjoying it and having this new creation to play with. We've seen, so like, if you guys aren't familiar with the way the galaxy works in Star Wars, there's hyperspace lanes within the known galaxy region. There's 3 rings that travel throughout the space that makes up the core galaxy in Star Wars. That's how they're able to travel through hyperspace. Outside of the main core galaxy is the unknown.
You said that because I really did not even think about it before. It never bothered me.
So like outside of the core galaxy, those hyperspace lanes don't exist anymore. So that's why
Han Solo had to like take so long to jump to hyperspace in A New Hope by doing all sorts of calculations, but in every other movie he could just hit a button.
It could be depending on where they are in the galaxy. So like when you incorporate Batu, the land from Galaxy's Edge, into the lore and everything, Batu sits as the last planet within the known galaxy. That's the end of known space, is Batu. And so from Batu on, space isn't charted at that point. You actually have to fly from point A to point B and know where you're going. So like,
or like you see some of that stuff in The Rise of Skywalker going.
Yeah, even going to Exegol, he had to use the Wayfinder to get there. So like these things are going to come back into play with Ahsoka, because if they're going to the unknown regions, there's no way for them to chart their way to find Thrawn and Ezra. They have to use the Force to actually get there and get their way to where they are. So it's going to come into play, and it's interesting to me. Like I said, building this whole new galaxy outside of the one we know is a really big thing that they can do, and it's the ball's in their court. What they do, it's either do you dumb down Star Wars and just make it predictable and follow the same story that we know we already gotten, or do you do something new and take the chance? And to me, Filoni should do something new and take the chance and give us a new era of Star Wars to enjoy at this point, because then they can do whatever they want from now to the sequel trilogy. There's still 20 years in between now and then from timeline wise.
Do you think Star Wars
opens a lot of doors?
Do you think Disney's Star Wars properties have a lot riding on this show?
No,
I think the future of Star Wars rides on this show. I think this and Mando are where you're going with the movie. And your movie's going to have to be successful. So if people aren't interested in the story, you're not going to garnish the movie attention that you want.
I disagree with that, because Mando is still successful and will still show
what
up.
I'm saying, what I mean by that is,
right,
if this doesn't do well, are we then stuck only having Mandalorian stories?
And Rey.
And right? Or because I mean, if this is not really about a Mandalorian, this is about like a Jedi and stuff like that. So if we
and a Mandalorian,
Andor is panned, right? Like I liked it a lot, other people didn't like it a lot. But if you don't get like people to buy into that story or that character, right, then you don't have more stories like that.
No,
let's put it this way: like it wouldn't hurt Star Wars and Lucasfilm to have more hits, right? The more like overwhelming hits there are, the better it is for Star Wars as a whole. But there's still other content getting produced. Like even if they stop production on all the movies they in the development process and all the movies they announced, there's still Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte coming out.
I'm very much looking forward to Acolyte.
Like, did you read this? Did you read this? This one is none of the writers on Ahsoka know anything about what you're talking about.
No, I think Pablo Hidalgo knows better than anybody because their story team is very, very good. I give their story team a lot of credit with making sure. I listened to interviews from Delilah Dawson talking about her book and all the different things that she was required to stick to due to the story team. So they know what happened, when it happened.
The story team, but like the Ahsoka story team.
It's one story group for Lucasfilm. They do everything.
They're not the ones writing the episodes. The people writing
no,
they're
like the reviewers.
They're the reviewers.
Yeah, they have boundaries to sit in, but do they really?
And they tell you, no, this planet can't be used here because this planet was used here, and this happened here, and they know the pinpoint.
Yeah.
It just depends on if Filoni disregards those 6 books, and now they're no longer canon because he wants to do his own story, or if he wants to incorporate those things.
Dave Filoni doesn't need the story group as much. It's more for like the other stories. Dave Filoni may as well be like the leader of that. Like that group.
Yeah, but is he reading every script? That's the difference, right? I can't imagine that he would have to read
Filoni.
That he would be able to read every.
Well, he's the showrunner.
He wrote all these scripts for this show for Ahsoka. He's the writer.
He wrote
there were probably additional writers who helped, but it's his story.
So he wrote the outline, and these guys filled it in. Yeah. Okay. So
it's his vision, 100%. Yeah.
And the big thing a lot of people were really coming away with was Kiner's musical score. I've heard from a lot of the reviews that people say this is the most authentic Star Wars soundtrack and vibe that we've gotten since John Williams. So if that's a good thing as well, and people I know I heard complaints about Kenobi. We've heard plenty of complaints about people not liking the Mandalorian stuff, which I still don't get, but I'm very interested to see. Kiner did the Clone Wars and he did Rebels, so supposedly it's a lot of the same beats, a lot of the stuff that we're familiar with that really adds to these first 2 episodes of Ahsoka.
All right. So I'm also thinking about now I lost my train of thought because when I was thinking about it, I was looking for a break and I couldn't get it in there. Forget it.
Happens to all of us.
I got sidetracked too because I was going to ask another question about the Ahsoka. Oh, the writer strike. So who thinks that this writer strike is actually going to create a little bit of a buffer, which might be good for some of these properties where people think we're like kind of worn out on? Because we've been cycling through like different shows and stuff like that, and I'm just thinking like it's a bad situation. I think that they should easily have been able to come to some sort of like mutual agreement that's beneficial to the parties that are actually working like wages, right? Like the wage salaries and stuff like that. But like, because there's so much of this, like, oh, we're inundated with all these like Marvel properties or whatever, and it's already too much. And then maybe people are the same talking about the Star Wars. Well, then this break, because once they get going, they're going to have to start writing before they can get into production. We're not looking at new shows for months.
But that's why Skeleton Crew got pushed back already. That's off the Disney schedule. Echo got taken off the Disney schedule for this year, and something else got taken off the schedule. So
they're taken off. I thought they were just releasing it all in 1 week.
So originally, that's the plan for Echo, is that it's all supposed to drop on one day, but originally it was supposed to drop in November, and now that and Skeleton Crew are off the end of the year schedule for this year. So my assumption is they're using that as part of the writer's strike now, and they're going to take these content and push it back. So if this goes on,
I'm wondering if that Echo
if this goes on till next year, we might not get Skeleton Crew till the beginning of next year now because of that. You know what I mean? Because now Andor got pushed back. I'm assuming the majority of Acolyte should be done, except for like post-production and stuff that they're going to need the actors to come back and do VFX for.
That's what I think is happening with Echo. I think that there's probably they wanted to reshoot and redo some stuff, and now they're in a pinch where they can't do that, and they're not going to release it as is.
It could be. It could very well be. And like, I think you're going to see that across the board with all the studios. We've already seen Deadpool, get changed and stuff like that. So Andor's not filming anymore. The only show that's taking place right now that's actually filming is House of Dragons, and that's only because a majority of the actors and actresses are from overseas and they don't belong to SAG.
I read that they worked out some sort of an agreement to continue shooting too, because
most of them aren't part of SAG. Yeah,
they showed that solidarity with the other groups, right? Like who was John? Who was saying that they were driving home earlier, and then there was a bunch of protests going on? Was that Jonathan?
I don't know. They're going on all over the place, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. What.
Yeah, I would be surprised if like Echo ends up not being released in one day.
Yeah, I would too. Honestly, though, I think so. Echo is one of the problems, in my opinion, with what's wrong with Marvel and what they're doing right now. Like, you didn't need to do an Echo show. You didn't.
I don't think anyone was asking for it.
They did need to do it because they needed people to say, "Here's another one of those shows, Marvel, that Disney that you're just doing."
See that's why though. Like, at some point,
how many people are fans of the character Echo?
Not enough to keep a book going.
But they are overwhelmingly Disney Plus subscribers.
So, in my opinion, like that's where you get into the line of pandering, in my opinion, by Disney, because they want to have everything catered to a specific group or specific things. So they try to hit on all of these notes. And some of these notes, unfortunately, they're not things people care about. They're not things people are going out of their way to see.
So, like, I agree. Nobody, like, I don't think anybody was asking. I don't think anybody was asking for an Echo show or expected
just
that.
Give us Daredevil and have Echo be part of the Daredevil show. That's it.
However, think about this. Nobody was asking for Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
That's exactly the point, right?
And that's what they're trying to replicate, but it's not happening.
Yeah, but you never know when that.
You don't know. It could be
like lightning can strike.
Yeah, right.
Like
it hasn't happened.
Well, here's the thing: you don't know about like a certain character. You don't have any.
Hasn't happened with Shang-Chi.
Jonathan had to ask Brian who Echo was, right? The show comes out. And all of a sudden it like hits a spark because you're like, I mean, maybe not the right character or whatever, but like, but yeah, exactly what Eric's saying. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, who knew who they were before you went and saw it? And I remember, I think I saw that like 3 times in the theater.
Yeah, no, and they struck lightning in a bottle with one property, but they've tried it now 10 other times with other characters, and
like
none of it hit.
Name one.
Eternals, Shang-Chi. Miss Marvel,
Shang-Chi, and that thing was like a blockbuster.
Shang-Chi was very good. I don't say that it's not, but has he appeared in anything else since? Has he been?
Barbie.
Else since?
But I think I don't think all those. I don't think all those things are the. I don't think all those things are the same, right? I think the pandemic played into like that and there seems to be some weird stuff going on like behind the scenes with Marvel and I know like I think Simu Liu said that like he's trying to get it made, but there are some other like things. Yeah.
Well, they're going to do
him up because the timeline of where his show lands.
Is ahead.
Schedule. But the problem with Shang-Chi, right? I don't think it was timely in a way, and I think there's like a little bit of controversy over these like Marvel martial arts, and I think a lot of it, in my opinion, came from Daredevil and Iron Fist, right? Like people didn't like the Iron Fist because they wanted him to be an Asian actor, right?
Yeah,
which is a departure from what they put in the comic, and then they change up a completely different character, and everybody's upset that they changed the character. And took it as a departure from the comic, right? So you can't win either way. You get Shang-Chi, and I think because of the type of movie, for me, it was a little too like on the mythical level or whatever with the way it ended. I wanted it to be more grounded in reality. Yeah, it was a great movie, but I just felt like I would have liked it more grounded. Like I liked all the stuff that happened like here in this world, like that whole out fighting on the outside of the building on the bamboo things that just took me back to like a Jackie Chan movie or something like that. I thought that was fantastic, but the storyline between the son and the dad in the real world, I think would have been to me a better than going to this other. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. I think the quicker we get back to Avengers stuff and then incorporating these side characters and doing their shows and movies. I think that's the way going forward. Like, that's how you're going to capture main audiences. If we're going to see Avengers movies and having different sects of Avengers, whether it's the West Coast Avengers or the New Avengers, or I think
Jonathan,
that's how
it was the actual. He's correct. The problem with the Iron Fist was the actual acting of the actor.
Yeah. It wasn't it wasn't the show. It was the person they cast to play him. Yeah.
So many new character stories.
I don't know. To me, like Agatha, another one that doesn't need to be made. Like, who cares? Like, I don't know. To me, that's the stuff that they need to get away from. The quicker we get the X-Men, the quicker we get Fantastic Four, the quicker we get the Avengers back. That's
where Brian is saying this is how you get to Avengers. You build the foundations, right? And in a way, hold on. I agree with him because to build the original Avengers, we got to that point. I thought it was great. But I keep saying, I have said this before and I'll say it like this. When they did that Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, it was awful. I think everybody can agree that was kind of one of the worst movies you could do. And I know DC, you can't use DC as an excuse because I think almost all their movies have some issues.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish that what they would do with characters that are like well known, like Green Lantern or whatever, is do something like they did the series of Green Lantern, Green Arrow stories back in like the 70s, 80s or whatever. And they were very like political, kind of like with the times. And I think they still hold up today, a lot of the stories. I wish we could just get the two characters already ready to go, already ingrained, already they're heroes in the middle of one of these stories. And then we can just have them talk about their origin in casual conversation somehow. Right.
Well, I think that's what Gunn's got planned with Superman is like Guy Gardner's already cast, Mr. Terrific's cast. They're going to have in this Superman.
Oliver Queen basically just looks at Hal Jordan and said, look, I didn't just get a magic ring. I had to teach myself how to shoot, arrows or something like that.
But like, I don't know. There's ways for them to get things back on track. It's just, I don't know if they're going to have to reevaluate what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, it's going to take time now with the strikes, right? It's just going to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you know what? But
he needs to reevaluate what he's doing. You know what I mean?
But the one thing that will happen for sure as a result of the strikes, at least with Marvel, is people are going to wish they had any kind of content when it's not coming out as frequently, right? Yeah. So I predict all the people talking about oversaturation. Like there might not be as high quality material, right, coming out, but something. And I want the best kind of content possible created. But at the same time, people are going to be like, I need my Marvel fix, right? They're going to be like, Joe Rogan.
All right, let's talk about some of the stuff that came out this week really quick, because I know Eric has something he wants to show off.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think of these statues?
Why?
Who asked for this and why? Yeah. And like 2 years after the movie came out, right? Like this is like years after Jumanji came out.
Yeah. I mean, if they were action figures,
McFarlane,
it might be different for me, right? But they're not.
So like if the Karen Gillan was an action figure, I'd pick that up just because I like Karen Gillan and that's a cool look for her. Like I could use that figure for something. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure you could.
I meant from like an action figure standpoint, but yeah, no, I don't know what you're supposed to do with this. Like, what are you supposed to do with this?
You're supposed to set it on the shelf and forget it. Like, what I really want is
a Kevin Hart.
I mean, come on, it is hilarious though. Can you imagine? I feel like these were meant to be like gag gifts or something.
It has to be something. Like I don't know if
you're at the office thing and there's like a $20 minimum. When you're playing the little elephant thing, and you got it all packaged up, somebody's gonna end up with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So I think we're all on the same page. I just thought I'd throw them in there. What about this sideshow, Sand Trooper and Dewback?
I got that in the Black series.
Yeah, I mean, like, so they had a. I feel like Hot Toys had a version of this, didn't they? Or was that?
So.
Or was that like just the 12-inch Kenner ones that had like a dewback? Because I feel like there was a dewback already.
I'm not sure. I know there was one in Black Series. I don't know very much about Hot Toys. I'm learning because Bill, our friend Bill Alexander, he's been getting into Hot Toys. So like, I've been learning about it from him.
So I have the dewback, but in Black Series. But is there a vintage collection one? I would like to know, like if somebody knows, like
I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't.
Yeah, all right.
If it's not vintage collection, it's like before vintage. Like it's still TVC size. It's just Power of the Force.
It's like $500 or something like that, right? Too.
Well, it's a sideshow. It's 1/6 scale. So yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. Hot Toys dewback looks epic, but it's great, crazy. I think it's like 400, or maybe it's like the Trooper itself is like 300 or 200, and then the dewback's like 400. Who knows?
So you gotta spend the double amount on getting it.
And then I guess the Black Lightning was revealed. You guys don't collect the McFarlanes, do you?
I got some of the the Batman stuff, and I got the glow in the dark Swamp Thing coming. But
this guy's got a Batman logo on his box. So will you put that in your Batman collection?
No. I'm not Batman adjacent. That's dude's market.
What about these two?
Awesome.
This was $50, so it surprised me that it was 50. I thought it was going to be like 56 or 57 or whatever. So it kind of did surprise me a little bit.
I did too. Kind of army builder thing, but I don't do enough Marvel Legends.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough call because like they already had like a version of this on the right? Do they have both of these released before?
Not the female Hydra, I don't believe. Well, I guess it's technically like Madam Hydra and stuff like that. But the Shield,
they had a Shield one, right?
We got Maria Hill and Quake as the one figure.
Oh, is that what it was? And then there were the two heads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, it's great that you're getting 5 different heads with this set, and then the guns.
It's like the 2 helmeted heads and then 3 extra ones.
And then 3 extra ones. It's pretty cool. Like I was saying to you, when they do stuff like that, I'm more inclined to step out of stuff that I normally wouldn't buy. Like for instance, this would be something I'd probably pick up just because, like, yeah, I'm getting a good enough value for the price. But I just right now, like I said, I've been tight on like ordering more stuff. So
Rolando is driving but listening, so let's not describe what's on the screen. I'm just messing around. It's the Marvel 2-pack of the Hydra.
And I think all the head sculpts look awesome, especially like for people like us, Vern, where we use these extra heads for customs and kit bashes and stuff.
Bashing.
It's great like head sculpts to use. So I mean, you can easily paint that blonde head sculpt and use it and have a new Scarlet right there.
The problem is this is like a Pulse exclusive. I think it's available on Shop Disney. So like the price drop on hoping for a price drop on this is probably never going to happen.
Yeah, you got to either catch it on their eBay page or you got to hope that they have one of the warehouse sales and you can snag it.
Yeah, because I was like hoping like it was going to be. I
have so many of them things like the Spider-Man 2-packs and all that. They're all the Pulse exclusive and none of them go on sale. And it's like, come on, like.
The Hydra, the masked Hydra face, is she snarling or something?
I didn't get a close up, but Waze, did you look at her?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it looks like she's kind of like.
So they do have the 3 heads and look, extra hands too. One, I mean the Hydra one comes with 3 sets of hands, and then the ship only comes with the 2.
Yeah. It's definitely cool though. Cool set, especially like if you're getting the Bob, you're getting the Hydra Trooper there too. So like you got a female to go with Bob, and it's cool.
I'm just thinking about this Shield Trooper, and then that jet pack that you can get with the GI Joe, the little Steel Brigade guys or whatever.
Yeah, that would look cool.
I'm just thinking that figure with that helmet with the jet pack would look cool.
Yeah. And like I know B's Battlegrounds, he'll pick up stuff like this in Marvel Legends because it'll go with his Joes. You know what I mean? Like these are just female troopers, so he'll use them.
Yeah, totally look like, and you know, because it's blue, you could actually make it a Cobra.
Yeah.
That's cool. Then another DC. This is Sinestro.
That's cool looking. I won't pick it up, but it's really awesome looking version of him.
If this guy gets down to like under $10 or whatever, the Lantern might be worthwhile.
Yeah, that's how I am with all the McFarlanes. Like if they go on sale and I find them, it's one thing, but I don't usually go out of my way. The only thing I've gone out of my way for was the last Batman stuff, the Dark Knight stuff.
And then I think this is the last thing I have. I think it seemed like a light week after the last couple of weeks of just getting inundated with like reveals and stuff. I wanted to put this up there because Left Coast had a link to the Amazon. I haven't seen it. Where
this was already announced.
Yeah, this went up.
They just didn't show the packaging and say it's the Glavis Ringworld.
Okay. I didn't understand where this one comes from. So this is
supposed to be from Book of Boba Fett, like his appearance.
That's why he has the dark saber and a knife.
Yeah, because in the show, he
has
one episode where he
didn't get the knife.
No, he uses the knife quite a lot. It's just we haven't gotten one in. And this is actually molded to slide into the boot now.
Oh, okay. So I kind of
Muddy Mando would have been the one to do it, but
yeah.
You said something on it saying like this is like that body with the slide-on armor.
So yeah, this is the Mandalorian Death Watch Trooper body, and this has the rubber overlay armor as opposed to
does the helmet.
Why
wouldn't they make the helmet come off?
That's what I was saying. Why wouldn't you just give us a total like perfect din with the removable helmet? But they missed the mark on that. So that's going to have to be something I do when I get this figure is pop the head off. I have the din Djarin head. I have the removable helmet. I'll just make the swap on that. But
the thing is, it would be interesting if this actually comes to with a blank head underneath and it's actually just glued on. The helmet's just glued on.
It could be, but what they've done with some of the more recent ones is the helmet's actually molded. It's like a molded helmet.
But the thing is like with those troopers, they were coming out with the helmets glued onto a head. And then they did that with when they upgraded the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. He was a helmet glued onto a head. And so I'm imagining if this is that upgraded body, potentially we could be looking at a head with the helmet glued on. And if that's the case, then this really is they really are just using that same methodology that Apple uses whenever they launch an iPhone.
Yeah. Right? I think so. I think this is a totally sculpted head though, because if you look at the Mandalorian Death Watch troopers and stuff, it's just a solid head. There's no removable underneath it.
Okay.
So I think this is pretty much just a new sculpted bucket now for Mando. This is the one a lot of people I think wanted because they saw it on the cheaper version of the figure. And that was going around Five Below. But this is the first time that we actually get like a cloth cape, which is good. And this should move well. You know what I mean? This is probably
have a cloth cape on mine.
Yeah, that's because you paid for one or you made one.
I made it.
But this is the best version of Mando that they've done so far. And it's on par with the figure arts and the Mafex. The only thing is we already know for a fact, more than likely, that'll get re-released with the shield and baton and the jetpack for season 3.
So,
and that's
when
exactly
I don't remember them revealing this. Did they show it off at all, like in person?
They
like
talked about it in one of the panels. I want to say it was around was it one of the April kind of streams or something?
It was either
they poke a hole in the cape then.
I want to say this is Celebration that they showed this off at. Either that or you're right. It was Celebration. Yeah. And
so with the cape, is there a hole in the cape for the jetpack, or is there some other way that the jetpack's supposed to like?
No, you actually move the cape to the side and it can attach the jetpack now and have it tucked.
Then it's never going to stay on because the bulging of the fabric's going to keep it from being able to peg in all the way.
No, you move you have it
kind of sweep it to the side.
Oh, okay, so it's going to be
like it is in real life.
Then it's not going to be really sitting behind him like Like it
Well,
should.
in the show though, when he puts the jetpack on, his cape's to the side and just tucked along the side of the jetpack. It's not like he's wearing the jetpack over the top of his cape.
Right.
But yeah, this is the closest. This is the best version we've got. They've also said now going forward, anytime they do the shoulder pads like this, they're going to be plugged in ports at the shoulder, so like you can actually still have movement on the arm. Those shoulder pads aren't going to block the arm from being able to move up like they do with the previous.
They need to make sure that knee pads are on the thigh and not the shin. Yes,
that's one thing. And then the other thing, Josh, it was either Josh or AJ brought up was that, what's this? Do you remember why he's got mismatched thigh pads? I thought one of them got pierced or punctured or something like that, and then like when she redid his armor, she couldn't match the quality. I couldn't remember why he's got mismatched thigh
I think
pads.
he just ran out of Beskar for it or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think Beskar was allocated there. I don't know.
I know that one thigh pad changed like throughout the course of 2 different seasons. So like he for a while he was still wearing the old thigh pad from his previous armor, and then at some point he changed over to that other one. But they've always been mismatched for the season.
I have a feeling. I feel
like
it had something to do with like there wasn't enough Beskar or something like that because I think that they are. Wasn't there something where they hold some off? For the young, or something like that.
Yeah, and maybe she made him another one, and that's why it mismatches. I forget how that all transpired. Right. I couldn't remember.
Saying hi to Andy here in the chat, and pop culture and plastic. Hello.
And it looks like we have a lot of stuff that's going to be coming for Star Wars Black Series, like way before it's supposed to. Yakface was reporting that those Sabine Wren and Hera figures are already here.
Oh, they're already in with some undisclosed figures.
All that whole wave is apparently here, so it's going to be interesting. We might get stuff beforehand. Those Apo and Darth Vaders from Target. Check your Targets next week because next week is Collector Con. So
they're going to announce the Mandalorian with the matching pieces. No, according to Jonathan, it's designed to make you buy more action figures.
Yeah, probably.
The Hasbro drop date is September 15th for the Target.
Yeah, so I'm anticipating that Apo and the Vader to show up in Target very shortly. We're supposed to also get the last wave of the Return of the Jedi stuff coming soon, the Luke stuff. Plus, we also have that Clone Wars wave of Ahsoka and the Magna Guards and the Clone Troopers. It's going to be a lot of stuff hitting quick, I think. Again, like another tsunami wave of Star Wars stuff.
Good.
And if you ordered the N1, I think that's coming soon. Like, there's a lot of stuff.
Did you see do you follow the Return of the Nerds on Instagram? He's already got them in stock.
No, I don't.
The N1. He's got them in stock.
I saw Bosk's Bounties review. Yeah, I don't know how they must be getting them earlier in the UK at least because I know
he's in
their shipments coming because that guy in Taiwan, the Return of the Nerds, he's already got like the GI Joes. He just got Tunnel Rat last week, right?
Yeah.
He already has the Snow Serpent from GI Joe, right? He's already got those, and apparently like Firefly's coming in, so it's like one after the other. The N1 came in, right? And he's already getting them.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a lot of more stuff coming within the next month or two, I think. We also have the Bad Batch stuff from Walmart that's supposed to be coming at the very beginning of September.
Yeah. Good luck getting anything from Walmart.
No, I don't think we're going to have an issue with the Bad Batch figures. The one I'm most worried about is Fives getting canceled. He's the last fucking clone I need to finish this out.
I think,
I'll be mad if it gets canceled. But
the stores are trying to clearance out their current Black Series stock here in Australia. Stores are full. Lots of archived Dengar and 40th Chewbacca, and lots of windowless stuff not selling.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna see, I think, here too.
Yeah, I'm waiting for some of those Return of the Jedi cards to go on sale or clearance because I've been holding off on that indoor trooper just because of it, right?
Yeah.
Hope I don't miss out on them.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of those Luke packs still sitting on the shelves. You know, I was kind of surprised by that. The Luke Grogu 2-pack, it's a great set, but a lot of people, I guess, decided, no, I'm not going to pay full price for that. So it's just
I mean, like that. To me, it's almost worth it. I just got that Jedi Luke, right? And I already have that training. Or I can't tell you how many Grogus I have.
Yeah,
right?
No, I get it. I get it. In my opinion, though, it was the best Grogu that they've done, and for the value of the stuff that you're getting along with it, I thought it was a fair set, and I thought it was a great set, honestly. But yeah, no, I get people being more apprehensive. We have all these HasLabs and stuff going on, like we were talking about, and it's a lot of money to be spending. You know, like you have to kind of delegate, pick and choose what you're buying, what you're not, and you know. Especially if you're in multiple lines, it's tough.
So Juan Toys and Bricks says he make a Cobra female trooper with the Quake Maria Hill agent figure. Yeah, the problem is if you send me the pictures on my Instagram, for some reason, we went through this last week, I can't pull them up on my computer to share them. Like I can do it through Twitter, but not Instagram. I don't know. Instagram's a total photo thing. Okay, Eric has a surprise he wants to show everybody.
Yeah,
I'm excited. Okay, so at San Diego Comic-Con, they launched this collaboration between Kith, which was some like clothing line. I don't really know. I don't really buy like that kind of stuff, but they did X-Men shoe line in collaboration. They're like Asics shoes. So they had a drawing to be able, like, I guess if you were at Comic-Con, they had this thing where you could get a token and get a pair of these through some door where you couldn't interact with the person behind. Like they had some weird revolving door kind of situation or whatever. But they released these. There are like 6 different pairs, and it's a blind box. Like I'm not into sneaker culture. It's kind of like if my limited experience with getting this makes me feel so much better about all the stresses that we deal with as toy collectors, because sneaker culture is like insane. This is the extent of like my sneaker collecting period. There are 6 different characters you can get. There are 2 different versions of Wolverine. There's a Beast, a Gambit, Rogue. Or wait, did I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah. So Gambit, Rogue, Cyclops, and Storm. But there are 2 different versions of Wolverine. But they come with a trading card that I guess is like some of them are different kind of rarity and whatnot. So I haven't opened.
They go back to the 90s trading cards, like when we were kids. They're the same cards. Yeah.
I just want to. Can I interrupt you for a second? And I'm going to argue for all the people out there. Exclusives are the worst thing that anybody can do. I can't believe these are exclusive.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
You know, no. Like I'm not I fundamentally agree with you. I wasn't counting on getting one of these, but for this company, like in order to get it, you had to enter some drawing, and you just randomly get it. Yeah. So the drawing happened like 3 weeks ago, I want to say, and I happened to win. They charged me immediately, and I just didn't get an update. Like I'm like, where are my shoes? I see people getting them. What's going on? So I emailed customer service earlier, like a week ago, and they said, "Oh yeah, they're out of stock in our warehouse. We'll contact our like stores to try and get a pair, but it might take like 2 to 3 weeks." So I'm like, I'm getting hosed. Like I'll probably get my money back, but like this is a horrible experience and totally justifies me not wanting to be like a sneakerhead or whatever they're called, right? But yeah, I very pleasantly surprised I got this in the mail today. The box is a little bit dinged up. It's not in like great condition. There's like, or the best of condition. There's some like creases and whatnot, but
it's a shoe
whatever.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
So like it's hard to see, but there's some perforation here for like you to display the shoes with the lid open, and you can still see this artwork there.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So the gimmick is that it's supposed to be like a blind bag, like the trading cards from the 90s, like Waze was mentioning. I collected those trading cards back in the day. I don't know if I still have them, but yeah. So I guess any reason to not get going here? I'm just gonna pull the tab, see what I get.
Oh, you're actually opening it.
Yeah. So it comes the trading card. I'm gonna try and avoid seeing the trading card, because if you see the trading card that is in there, you'll know what
shoes you got.
Yeah. So it comes in this.
Oh, that is a cool looking bag too. Look at that.
Baggy.
The artwork is awesome. You should hold on to that. I would
that bag. I would
opening that. Yeah.
That looks like something you can throw in a frame too to make,
Yeah.
I would cut the back side maybe to preserve the artwork. Yeah.
This is weird. It has like an edge right here on this lip, but
okay,
it doesn't.
Yeah, that makes it.
But it doesn't do anything because it's like right up. Okay, well, that's weird. I'm gonna have to cut this a bit lower.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Are you gonna actually wear those shoes?
I don't know. It depends. Let's see. I need to get.
Depends on which ones he ends up pulling. If there's something that he can wear on a daily basis, probably.
So the thing was with Eric, I told him to hold the camera in one hand, get the sharpest, ricketiest, rustiest knife in the other hand. Oh, you're cutting through the image, right?
Well, I have to, right?
No, you can just cut the back.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Fine. I just need to kind of pinch it and pull away. These scissors are shit too.
Well, they belong in the kitchen. I can tell. They say KitchenAid on them.
Yeah,
those are good scissors, though. Those are the scissors I use too. Are the kitchen scissors?
Well, they're kind of broken because I used them to like cut open like a TV box. Like, yeah. So, all right. I made an incision. I'm cutting through the back.
I mean, if you wanted to preserve the image, I think the image on the front side.
No, it was a very good,
cool.
Very good recommendation. All right, let's pull these out and see what I got. I can't tell. Is this a Cyclops or is this a? I think I got Cyclops.
Oh yeah, that's Cyclops.
Those are cool.
Those are actually really cool. I like them.
I was hoping for Beast, but these are actually like wearable. These aren't like as ridiculous as the like
the Gambit.
The Gambit ones were but ugly.
That's awesome.
I was hoping for Beast, but these are pretty cool. Yeah. So hold on. So the next part of this is the trading card. Yeah.
Yeah, Connor or Jonathan is saying that this makes Rum's unboxings look like expert level stuff. Right there, right. The card makes this worthwhile, I think.
So awesome. I think I don't think I got like one of the like rare cards. Okay. I saved a screenshot on my phone. I just need to find this, which outlined the rarity. Yeah, silver cards, which is what I got, is like 50% of all the ones. Sorry for my dog barking.
That's still cool. So, really awesome.
So yeah, this isn't like graded, but it came in like this case. So here,
that's awesome.
And I could care less about the card, to be honest. Like I didn't get it because
how much?
I didn't get it because like
I would just do that with the box. Like I would put the card and the card.
So it would have been cool if I got one of the ones like
the rare ones.
Like if I got one of the blue and yellow Wolverine shoes, like I see those online reselling for like $1,000.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Let me see the card. I was looking at something else. Can I see it?
Really
the
cool.
back or
the front? Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, that is super cool, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, you got to hold on to that. You know what somebody got for one of those cards on eBay? Do you want me to tell you, or
for one of the like plain like run of the mill versions? Or
oh well, what's the difference? Because it looks just like yours.
Well, the different colors are of different rarity. I have this like chart from Kith on the rarity.
Okay, which one do you have? I mean, like
the most common. So 49.9% of all of the cards are the silverback.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. Still cool though.
Yeah.
But yours is totally reflective on the front, right?
Yeah, but all of them are. All of them are shiny.
Oh, I don't know
the rare ones will have some extra kind of like grading sticker from.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
This was actually for the. I thought this one was just for the card, but it was for the shoes and everything too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like a really rare card, 1 of 50, a blue one, went for like looks like close to $700.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would have been like I don't resell stuff, so like
yeah.
I'm not in that game, but
still that's a great.
Yeah. So I didn't get any. Here's the rarity again.
I think that's cool. I mean, I think just the card is really awesome.
Yeah. So this is like I'm not gonna pop it out, but you can kind of see if I zoom in here. There's the perforation, so that I could like
put your shoe and then still have the
pop it out. Yeah, so you can see that. So yeah, thanks for letting me share.
Yeah,
and I'm not a huge I'm not a Cyclops fan, but like I'm glad I didn't get Gambit, and I'm glad I didn't get Rogue, because there's no way I'm walking around with Green Bay Packers shoes. So
yeah, that's basically like a perfect X-Men shoe though. Like literally the color scheme, the way the laces are, everything. Like that's a perfect, and you can wear that at any time. You know what I mean? That works.
Yeah, it comes with some extra laces. I don't know why I'd wear white. I kind of like it's got the red for the eyes.
Oh yeah, there you go. I see it.
That's what I'm saying. Those are cool. They did a good job with those. Yeah. And like you got lucky with a good pair. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah.
Of course, I could wear Gambit all day. That's more my style.
Have you pulled up the pictures of what the Gambit ones look like?
No, I haven't. I haven't bothered. I mean, this is the first I've even seen these things.
They're like brown on brown.
Yeah, they're butt ugly. I watched an interview with I watched an interview that the CEO of Kith did, and they showed they had a Magneto pair that they didn't get it far enough along and didn't include it, but the prototype that he had looked awesome.
Yeah, that would have been a cool one. Like I would rock purple shoes.
So what is your because here's Connor, right? Your dog's gonna get him. So what will your response be?
If the dog chews the shoes?
Yeah,
they won't be in a place where they'll be able to. Yeah. I'm still debating whether or not is this something
you're gonna wear?
Yeah. I mean, you could put them on your shelf like that. Yeah, you could put them in the box and just right up on your shelf and call it a day. Yeah.
To me, I was always planning on wearing them because I'm not I just think it's weird to display shoes. I don't understand that.
Something along those lines that you could easily display, and you wouldn't, nobody would bat an eyelash at it because it is a rare collectible.
So these shoes did not do what they were intended to do. These shoes did not ignite something inside of you
to make you immune.
You
need
another shelf. No. Oh hell no! This didn't kick off I need to scratch that itch and start collecting Jordans and whatnot. No, forget that.
All right. I think that's a good way to end the show. I think.
Yeah, I think so
cool.
Too.
Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah. All right, guys. I really appreciate you coming on again. Thanks for showing off your shoes. Thanks for hanging out. trying to convince me that it's okay to watch Ahsoka after all, even though I'm not watching Rebels. Everybody in the chat, thanks for coming and hanging out with us for another Saturday on the
I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll be off for 2 weeks.
And we'll be back next week. Actually, I don't know. We're doing something. There might be some different thing where we may be streaming on another channel as part of a something. I have to like confirm all that. So there'll be plenty of tweets and stuff to go around. But anyways, thanks for hanging out and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We got a storm coming out here in San Diego. Let's see how, we'll see how bad it really is.
Well, just
when
in
you guys
case
don't hear from me for like a week.
Yeah, just in case you do actually get a serious hurricane like they're saying it's going to be, just please be careful and keep all of us updated.
Yeah, I think we put some sandbags out in front of the front door just because we got the slope coming down there. I think we should be okay.
All right.
All right, guys.
Good.
Cool.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Cheers.
Ahsoka Tuesday. Let's go.